Welcome to the Best of Conscious Millionaire Health Reality Show, episode number 186 with my guest, Rodney King. We'll be discussing how you can master your inner game. And as a special announcement for business owners and coaches who want the insider's track to making your first million, listen to my Conscious Millionaire podcast every Monday through Friday. To listen and subscribe, just go to consciousmillionaireshow.com. I look forward to having you as a listener.
Welcome to Conscious Millionaire, the reality health and fitness show for busy entrepreneurs. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for expert interviews and insights from audience members. Now, here's your host, business and life coach, J.V. Crum III.
Hello, this is your host, J.V. Crum III, and welcome to you from wherever you're listening around the globe. Now, do you want to become more productive, maximize your profits, and make a big positive impact? Then the first step is to optimize yourself, your mind, body, and spirit. And a special shout out to Harold, who left this rating and review at iTunes for Conscious Millionaire Health. Wonderful production value, which I appreciate. And it challenges me to take a step back and ask if my life has balance and fullness. Thanks for the perspective. Well, thank you, Harold. Now, I have a great show for you today because our featured expert is an expert in the inner game, and we'll be discussing how you can master your inner game. And a reminder to get the amazing gift our guest has for you today, just go to consciousmillionairehealth.com, click on the gold image that says free podcast gifts. And when you go there today, you'll also get access to gifts from prior guests. Now, help me welcome our guest today. He went from sleeping on a park bench to becoming a world-renowned modern martial artist, super successful entrepreneur, and author, all with only $20 in his pocket. He has done this through applying the principles of his martial art training to his life and career. My guest today, hailing from South Africa, is Rodney King. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Hey, JV, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I understand that you all are doing some celebrating there. So, folks, if we hear something that sounds like fireworks, it is fireworks. So we might have fireworks on the health show today. Rodney, that's my formal introduction to you, but how would you describe yourself in your own words?
Well, I like to think of myself as an inner management guru. And really, my focus is on helping my clients achieve inner excellence through the martial art process, as you mentioned in the introduction.
So I'm really curious, when you're here today, you're listening to this show and you really want to get more health and fitness, you're looking for that, as I said, the conscious living and balance in your life. How does the inner game play into health and fitness and balance?
Well, I think it's massive, but I think it's underrated as well. There's a lot of information out there on what we could consider the exterior of the body, right? Looking good, getting in shape, looking the part. But very little or no attention is given to the inner game. And that's been my experience. But much of a person's success in the health world or, as an entrepreneur, which I know are many of your listeners, comes down to overcoming that inner opponent. So knowing how to do that, I think, is crucial in pretty much all endeavors in life, regardless if it's health or, your work environment or even your relationships.
So let's get started with, you're listening to this and you're going, okay, I buy into that. I get that inner game is really important. What's the starting point, Rodney? You want to be healthy and fit. Where do you start?
Well, I think where a lot of people don't realize, and this is a good starting point, is to take a bit of time out during the day and just have a look at your thought process. Where is most of your thoughts? Where is your focus throughout the day? And what most people will find, if they just do a little bit of self-awareness, is that most of their thinking happens to be in the future or the past. And a lot of times, that's really where most of our stress comes from, worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow or trying to prevent what happened yesterday. And most of the times, we kind of miss contact with the present moment. We miss the present moment. And so we don't really connect with what's really happening right in front of us. So I think the first step always is to be aware of where is your thinking. How much of the day are you actually spending in the future and the past. And then the next strategy is to find strategic ways to get yourself back more into the present. Because in my experience, being more present in your life not only aids in your success, but also in a much more, you find yourself in a much more happier place.
Well, I absolutely, completely agree. That's why I meditate. That's why I talk so much about conscious decision making, because we can't consciously make any decisions about our life, about our business, about our health, about our fitness, about our balance from any place other than the present moment. And if we're in the past, then we're like usually into some negative emotions. That's usually what that's at. And if we're in the future, we're either worrying about it or we're in that visionary state, which is positive. However, all conscious decisions about your health and your fitness come in the present moment. So if you're going to master the inner game, you start with looking at how much time you're spending every place. Then you start focusing on the present moment. What do you do next in order to get your inner game aligned with where you want your outer game to be playing so the two can get in sync with one another?
Well, I think the next step is getting some strategies going on how to get back more into the present moment. You mentioned one, which was meditation. I think that's a fantastic way. I'm also a very big advocate of the mindful approach in life. And I'm more interested in, it's one thing being able to sit on a zafu in a candlelit room with soothing music and meditate, but it's a completely different story when you're out in the world and you have to deal with the chaos of life, right? And so in that sense, there's a big difference in my mind between mindfulness practiced on the Zafu and mindfulness in action, actually being able to apply it in everyday life. And one of the best places to start with that is in the mundane, is in the small things. Because in my experience, success can be achieved if you focus on the things that are your mundane, the things that you do every single day and you just take for granted. Because if you can't even keep relaxed on the way to work, as you're driving and you find yourself getting kind of in that road rage kind of mindset, and you can't even get that right, how are you going to handle the really big things in life?
I think it's a great point. And all of that really relates to your health and fitness, because if you are constantly creating patterns and strategies of stress, then how are you really going to maintain health and fitness? Because all of that is negatively impacting your mind and your body and your spirit.
Yep. And I think what happens a lot of times, right? I mean, people want to kind of succeed at the big things. That's kind of what they want to do. But they don't realize that how they manage the smaller things, the mundane, really it kind of amplifies that ability to eventually get to the point if you're actually going to succeed. So if you can't get a handle on these kind of trivial things that we consider as the mundane, you're never going to get to the point where you'll actually handle the big things. So I think it's very pertinent to actually spend time being mindful in the things that you just take for granted. The drive to work, the washing of the dishes. Those kinds of things, I think, all culminate in the end and kind of, build up to eventually putting you in a position where you feel confident that you can actually take on these big success things that you want to achieve in your life.
And what I'm hearing, Rodney, is it's really also practicing on a small chunk level so that you can learn how to do small things from a mindful present place, and then you can kind of combine those small chunks to do bigger things. So you've practiced on small things, now you go to medium-sized things, now you go to bigger things, so that it becomes, as I'm guessing, a habit, a way of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you get that success on the smaller things, then you'll find that you're going to have that confidence, right? You're going to be more confident to take on the next kind of bigger challenges in your life. And I think that's a very proactive way to go. And as I noted, that oftentimes that's not what people tend to do. They tend to try to get the big things right, and then they fail, and then they feel despondent, and they spiral into that vortex where they find it very hard and difficult to get out of. And so definitely taking on the small things, chunking them, and working through the things that you can manage now, and then building your way up is a good way to develop success for the future.
Well, and I'm thinking about meditation because we both meditate, and it's one of the things I require out of clients, and it's some of the things that I ask everyone to do. But if you start with you have to meditate an hour a day and you've never meditated, then you're going to feel that can be a very, very challenging starting place. But if you start with, I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes, or I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes, I'm just going to have a taste of this. That's a better starting place, and then you can build up. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Learn to be mindful on the small step, and then take another step, and yet a bigger step. Rodney, it's great information. I really appreciate you being on the show because I love the whole inner game. And up next, we have the gift giving and the conscious health questions. Are you a business owner or coach who wants the insider's track to making your first million? Then listen to the Conscious Millionaire podcast. It's every Monday through Friday. To listen and subscribe, go to consciousmillionaireshow.com. I look forward to having you as a listener. Welcome back. I'm here with our guest, Rodney King, who is an expert on the inner game. But before we go to the gift giving, I want to congratulate you for showing up today, because you showed up for yourself. Every time you listen to the Conscious Millionaire Health Reality Show, it's another step forward in your life. It's taking time out of being a busy entrepreneur to pay attention to something that is really the most important component to your success as a person and as an entrepreneur, and that's being healthy and fit and finding your path to having a more conscious, balanced life that's really going to serve every aspect of your life. So congratulations to you for showing up today. And now, one of the favorite parts of the show, it's the gift giving time. Rodney, what is the gift that you have for everybody listening today?
Well, I have a complimentary course that anybody can take. It's a free video course that outlines 6 principles that they can use to become super successful and achieve an inner game that will enable them to achieve success in their life and their career.
And what's the name of that, Rodney?
Full Contact Living. It's based on my book, so it's principles derived from my book.
Well, I love that, and I love all of this, and especially video training is really fun. So I want to suggest you go right now to consciousmillionairehealth.com, click on the gold image that says free podcast gifts, go in, and then just click on Full Contact Living course. And now it's time for the conscious health questions. Rodney, what is one action that busy entrepreneurs can take to optimize their health and fitness?
I think one of the things that they could do is spend some time focusing on the out breath. And the reason I'm saying that is that when people are very stressed out, one of the first things that happens is their breathing kind of goes out the window. And a lot of people don't realize that the out breath engages the part of the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, that helps you calm down and helps you come back to homeostasis. Because, when you're stressed out, your sympathetic nervous system is kicking off. That's your fight and flight response. That's the thing that gets you all stressed out. You don't have any conscious control over it, so it doesn't help telling yourself to keep calm. It's not going to make any difference. But one of the ways that you can engage that sympathetic nervous system to calm it down is through your out breath, because that invokes your parasympathetic nervous system, as I noted, which is the opposite side of the system that is designed to bring you back to homeostasis and to calm you down.
What is your personal health practice? How do you approach your day so that you have the health and the fitness?
Well, one of the things that I do, and I think everybody hates this, I'm sure, is I get up first thing in the morning, I answer all my emails, but I'm not sure how you find it, but when you're answering these emails, it's kind of stressful, right? Because you're trying to get back to everybody, everybody's waiting for an answer. So immediately after that, I go and meditate for at least 30 minutes. And I find that's a great way to kind of just step away from that kind of frenzy of answering the emails and getting myself back into what I could call the zone and ready for the day.
I really love that. Something that I've been doing recently, because I too am a guy who was getting up and answering the emails, and I found it stressful as well, is that the first thing I do, rather than laying in bed and checking them on my phone, which is what I tended to do, is I now have something that I've labeled, and I gave it a label that really excited me, Awaken to Gratitude. And I spend 10 minutes just thinking of things I'm grateful of. And I don't have a pre-list. It's just whatever comes into my mind. And wow, does that put me into a positive state of mind.
Oh, I like that.
It's just a lot of fun. So that's something that I'm playing with these days. So what is a health brand that you love, Rodney? And why do you love it so much?
Well, I think the martial art program that I developed is a health brand that I really love. And the reason why I love it, and I know I'm kind of punting myself here, but it takes a completely different take on martial arts training, where martial arts training tends to be very focused on the kind of hyper competitiveness. That's the way it is in the modern world. And here is a martial arts brand that is really focused on helping clients achieve success, not just on the mat in their martial arts training, but off the mat in their everyday life. And so what I like to think of it is in terms of being able to successfully take on the martial arts of everyday life and win.
And what is a secret or an insight that you've discovered for how to have more balance and peace in your life?
Well, one of the things that I've been doing for a very long time, and it makes a huge difference, is that I never work myself to exhaustion. And I notice that a lot of entrepreneurs really push past that point, and they tend not to be able to achieve the things that they've set for themselves. So I take a power nap every single day. And sometimes if I need to take 2 power naps, I will, even for 20 minutes, has made a huge difference in my life. And I just feel completely energized and focused, once I get back up again and I'm back into work, because I'm sure like you, as entrepreneurs, we work until weird times and early hours of the morning.
Oh, so Rodney, I am finished at 5 o'clock every day and I don't even know what to do on the way there. It's amazing. No, why did I start this show? Folks, I started this show because I'm the guy who needed the show. So I said, well, I'm not alone. As I checked around with my friends, they all needed the show too. And I said, okay, well, let's take the journey together, because you're absolutely right, Rodney. You've got to find boundaries. And I happen to work in a big loft, so I have a whole area that's my office. And sometimes I actually do the same thing. It's just like I'll go, I am exhausted. And I'll just go crawl into bed and sleep for an hour sometimes. And I go, wow, now I'm back.
Yep.
So
great strategy.
Yeah, it is a great strategy. I really appreciate you bringing that up. The power nap is a fabulous strategy. We've been here with Rodney King, hailing from South Africa. And I want to congratulate you again for showing up today, because we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for you. This is the show for you. We want to give you the health information and hold you accountable by showing up to take another step forward on your own health and fitness journey. Thanks for showing up. I look forward to connecting with you on our next show. And thanks again for being our featured guest today.
Absolutely. Thanks. I appreciate you having me.
Are you a business owner or coach who wants the insider's track to making your first million? Then listen to the Conscious Millionaire podcast. It's every Monday through Friday. To listen and subscribe, go to consciousmillionaireshow.com. I look forward to having you as a listener. This is a reminder to always consult with your physician or licensed health advisor prior to making any changes in your diet or exercise program. As always, take full responsibility for the decisions and actions that you take, including the effect that they may have on your health.